All right, welcome everybody. So glad to have you on the stream. If this is your first time with us, we do this every weekend at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, except then next time it will be Central Daylight Time because Daylight Savings is coming back. And so we will spring forward an hour tonight. Hope you are ready for that. But we do this every weekend. I have been painting for the last 7 or 8 months or so, and I do that publicly here through my weekend paint party live stream. So I'm so glad that you've joined me wherever you are. Some of you have already started popping up in the comments. If you're watching on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, wherever you are, feel free to join the conversation. I see Lola. Welcome, Lola. So glad to see you as always. Mom and Dad, hello. So glad to have you on the stream. I'm excited this evening, but first of all, I have something very special. Most of the time, you all know that I am sitting in the corner drinking water or attempting to stay hydrated. Tonight, I have a very special beverage. Most shows have a sponsor. Not most, but shows often have a sponsor. I don't have a sponsor, so I am actually sponsoring. This is a pear lavender tea from my friend Abby's Tea Shop. If you are local here in Arkansas, you can find Abby's if you haven't already on Kavanaugh in Hillcrest. I stopped by this afternoon and got this pear lavender. I like a chilled tea, so I drink it chilled with a splash of lemon juice and some honey or sugar. It's a great, her new blends are coming out for the spring. She hand blends all of her blends and does loose leaf teas. This is a white tea with, of course, lavender and pear. Delicious, really refreshing for the spring. And so that's what I'm drinking this evening. And I invite you to grab your favorite beverage. But if you are here local, give my friend Abby a shout out. Stop by. Her tea shop is not actually open, of course, because of COVID, but she does almost 3 times a week does a tea stand out in front of the store, so you can swing by. And I know she's looking forward to reopening to the public fully, I believe in May, depending on how everything goes with the pandemic. So stop by there off Kavanaugh in Hillcrest and say hello to Abby. Grab yourself some tea. Prior to her launching her shop, I was not a tea drinker. Oops, sorry if I bumped the mic. But she was like, I'll teach you. And so I've learned to steep my own tea and love that. Anyway, I do a matcha every morning instead of coffee. I've never been a coffee drinker, but I do matcha. And it's a great little pick-me-up and kind of keeps me even across the morning. But anyway, shout out to Abby. All right, so last week, those of you who are on the live stream saw that we did the bee painting. So I wanted to show you the finished product. I went through, and what I added while we were away, or while you were away, was some definition in the petals. I darkened the petals of the flower from the reference photo, and this basically was to make sure that the focal interest point was the bee. I brightened the yellows of the bee, different from the reference photo, and lightened this kind of area of the flower and darkened this lower area of the flower. So you'll notice the same colors are here, just they're a little less saturated. So that's what we did last weekend, and this is what I finished up this week. So I'm really happy with how this turned out. I think it's really pretty with the green and then the deeper purples and pinks, but was a fun painting. So I'm glad, I appreciate you all joining for that. And always enjoy showing you the finished product. Okay, so tonight we're going to be doing this really cute guy. And he is actually the pup of a local friend of mine here that I went to grad school with. And she sent me, or not sent me, she posted these photos, and I asked if I could use her pup as a reference for painting sometime. And I've been really wanting to paint this because he's just really cute. They put some glasses on him and I think it's fun. So that's what we're going to be doing this evening. We're doing it on a smaller canvas. This is just 8 by 10, 8.5 by 11, somewhere. I guess it's 8 by 10 probably. But I've done, like I do often, just a quick sketch for kind of the composition and the so the proportions are correct, but we are going to do that this evening. So that's what we're getting ready. And I will get my little seat set, and then I'll bring y'all over here closer so you can look over my shoulder. And I've also, for your benefit, hopefully, done or got a microphone, so hopefully the sound was never really bad on my other live streams, but this should be more less tinny and should be a better quality of sound. So little by little we're upgrading. I'm thinking about investing my stimulus money into, since that's the intent, is to put money in the economy. I'm thinking about getting a better live streaming video or video camera, even though I really, my cell phone does just fine, but I'm considering doing that, but we will see. All right, let's jump in. Let me take the okay, let's get started. Hope everybody's week was good. I'm gonna sip me a sip of tea to get started. Welcome, welcome. I see more people popping in. Feel free to say hello wherever you're watching in the comments. Glad to have you. All right, let's jump in and put in, like we do, some color here. I love this little pup. I think he's so cute. I forget his name. I should have checked that out before I jumped on the live stream, but I just think he's super adorable. And I've never done somebody's pet before. You may remember that I said last week, I think, that I was wanting to do somebody's pet as opposed to just, random animals like the bee or the lion or some of these others. I'm a little challenged because obviously people's pets have the personality you want to bring through too. So I was a little nervous about that. Hey there, Jay. So glad to have you. Thanks for popping in. What is the dog's name? Lola, I am not sure actually. You know what? There's no reason we can't pause just a minute and see if we can find out this pupper's name, because we just need to know it, don't we? Let's see. I'm going to find his mama on the internet and see if I can quickly find the pictures that she posted and see if she gives his name. There's lots of pictures of him. All you need is love and a dog. But she didn't post his name. Shoot. Well, we may not be able to find it right away, but I thought maybe if we could find it really quick we would, but I don't see it. So we will just... Jay says Pepper or Milo. I don't think... I wish I could remember what she told me, but I can't remember. Oh well. I will find out, though, in the intervening week and I will come back with this information. Okay. Yeah, I honestly, I am not sure, but we will see what it was. I can't remember honestly. And as soon as I hear it, I'll be like, ah, of course, yes. So, but all right. So, I am just mixing some dog color here, taking some burnt sienna and or yellow ochre, sorry, and some burnt sienna and or losing it, yellow ochre, burnt umber, and white, and we're just mixing that up. And we will start putting some color in here. Just to get him started. I don't want to lose all of my guiding lines, but we'll see what we can do. We'll see how it turns out. Every stream is a learning process, right? It's always learning. You guys know the drill by now. I don't really know what I'm doing. We just figure it out as we go. So here's his. Thanks, sir. I don't normally wear a watch, but it was gifted to me, so I now do. I don't use it very often, unless something like it's really helpful for something like streaming, like right now, because my phone is working as I'm using my phone as a virtual camera, and so it's nice when I can use my watch for what it was meant for, to figure out time if I need. So, yeah. Yes, yes. So I'm just adding more and more white here to kind of where his legs. One of the things that I learned recently, or it's kind of common sense, but, and I may have said this before, I don't know if I repeat myself a lot on these streams, but I was watching a paint tutorial, and the artist who was kind of doing this made the point that our eyes, when we focus on something, and notice this, like even right now, like focus on something in your space. When we like focus on something, our eyes don't see the periphery in focus. And so a lot of times we paint the entire subject completely perfectly in focus, which is fine. That's if you're going for, photorealism. You want every single thing in focus, but that's not how our eyes actually see. And I had never thought of it that way, but it's really interesting to think about how that affects how our eyes see. So that's something I'm starting to play with in my paintings, is getting softer and less specific and focused around the edges of the painting, just because it's how our eyes see. And you'll think, like, it's when you think about like the great masters, like if you go into a museum, you will see the great masters. Often, sometimes they didn't even finish the sides of the canvas. It just, they just end the painting. And it helps to add, they don't even cover the whole canvas, but it helps to add some perspective to or draw the eye into the painting. So what I'm doing here is trying to just, on his face, put a little indication of value changes so that we can begin to see if the values are working. In photography, it's called the bokeh effect. Bokeh effect. Interesting. Cool. Learn something new every day on this live stream. See, this is why you should always come to the live stream. You never know what you're going to learn. There's a name for it, which I'm not surprised, but that's very cool. Okay, I'm lightening up this because this is where the light hits his fur the brightest. And by adding all these layers, we start to give some definition to his... We start to give definition to his cute little face. I always feel like this is crooked. It's not direct on. It is a bit because the camera is to the side, but okay, let's see. Let's add a little... Let's add a little color, not color, but darken this a little bit. We'll start to go in here. It's way too dark, and I just lost my eye, so we'll see if we can recreate. We'll need to lighten this up. But that's what it's about, right? Just kind of looks much lighter on from your angle, y'all. So I guess that's good. Seems like every time, as soon as I start live streaming, the fire trucks start going out. I don't know if you all can hear the sirens out on the road outside my apartment, but the fire trucks are busy tonight, apparently. We'll just put suggestion in there, and we'll work at this and try to get it as good as we can. We'll put his little nose in here. So adorable. Try to get the rough picture correct. Then he kind of has a mustache. Where we see, and then we see some darker tones here. There's some over here. Actually, I think in my head it just popped in. I think this dog's name is Bailey. He looks like a Bailey, doesn't he? I think this pup's name is Bailey. But like I said, I'll get the intel. But I'm pretty sure now that pops in my head, I'm just like, oh. But I may be totally off base. We will figure it out. Have to lighten this up totally because he was, oops. All right, well, kind of messed that up, but that's okay. We'll just keep doing our layers and we'll get it fixed. Okay. Oh, there's his mama. Hey, Nancy. Sawyer. Bailey. Oh, Jesus. That's why I was associating the name Bailey with you. So Nancy says, it's Sawyer. Bailey is... Okay, perfect. That's why Bailey was in my head. Sawyer, Sawyer. Yes, I had meant to send you a text earlier and then got busy and couldn't. I was going to say, hey, we're going to be trying this on the... I have 2 or 3 of him planned. 2 or 3 pictures I filched from your social media because he's just so adorable. I have to. But tonight we're trying this. So, and if you could recognize him, well, you recognize the photo, of course. But hopefully by the end, we'll recognize him by the painting too, also. Excuse my slurping noise as I slurp my Abby's teas. Have to throw in the pitch for Abby's teas again. All right, Sawyer, Sawyer. Perfect. He looks like a Sawyer. Yes. That makes sense. Okay. Now, he is these beautiful whites and browns and just cuddle bug softness. And so what I want to do is take a very light blue and diffuse it a little bit even. So it's just a really pretty light blue. And then we'll come up here, which will be a contrasting color with his beautiful fur. So we'll bring in the blue as the background. That way he'll stand out against the background. And he'll be the star of the show, as he should be. All right. We're just covering canvas at this point because canvas, as we know, will soak up a lot of this paint. Then as we go down, we'll get softer and softer. We'll do more coats. All right. Since I always forget it, we'll start at least coating the sides with the basic coat. All right. Yeah, I think that he will bounce out really. That looks really cute. Love it, love it, love it, love it. I'm going to turn it sideways for a second. Oh, no, maybe I'll do it this way. We'll coat the bottom a little bit so we can that should dry pretty quick. It's already tacky. All right, I'm gonna mute y'all and dry this really quick. All right, so we're a half hour in to the live stream, and we have the rough bits in for kind of where we're going. So let's start adding layers, the shadows, some definitions. Okay. so cute. So cute. I put kind of white, a glaze, almost a glaze of white across, because white is very, as you can tell, very translucent, and so but it lightens up some of those darker shades I had added, and as you add layers, then it will give some lightening to his. It will lighten up some of the areas that are darker here. But it'll give us different textures and colors in his fur, because obviously his fur is not just all one color. So we want to give a variety of different textures and colors to him. Okay. So I want to start adding, I wonder if, I think I want to start really focusing on the eyes and the area around the eyes. And I want to, I think, put a lot of the time there, because getting his eyes and glasses correct is going to be an important component. So that's what's going on in my brain. Thank you so much, my friend. Always appreciate it. It's perfect. The encouragement, especially around this time, you know how it is, like mid painting, where you're like, oh, this is not working at all. It always happens, right? So but I have confidence. What is it that Julie Andrews saying? I have confidence in confidence alone. Maybe that's what it takes, right? A little foolhardy and a little blind, but I have confidence. Hey, Bob G. Hope you had a great time with the family and Amanda had a great birthday. No, we found out his name is Sawyer, not Roscoe. Sawyer it is. So, all right, let's put his eye back in because I've painted over it. Hi, Natasha. So good to see you. I hope you're well. Thank you. I love him too. He's so adorable. Makes it easy to makes it easy subject, right? Okay, so we'll put his eye in there, and then he has kind of this extra little dark area around his eye. Oh, he's so cute. I can't stand it. I know I keep saying that, but it's true. So at this stage, I'm using very, very loose paint strokes and just adding basically lots of layers, a variety of different values within the same color family, basically. so that as we add more and more and get more defined, then all of a sudden he really pops off the canvas and his face starts to appear. I rescue squirrels and would love to buy a squirrel painting from you. I will need to. I have not painted any squirrels. I've done other wildlife things, or wildlife paintings, but I have yet to do a squirrel. I'll have to put that on my list, Natasha. Definitely should be on my list. Even at this stage, he's cute as a bug. Ah, that's very kind. I am glad it is relaxing, especially at the end of a long week. I am grateful. It's relaxing to paint, but when I started this, I didn't even really think anybody would ever want to watch or would show up, really. So I'm grateful for all of you that, each of you that does and hangs out and just watches this process, and it's a lot of fun for me as I learn and just try to really just try to figure things out. It's it's so crazy because it's like, well, what am I really doing? Often I don't really know, especially because I keep changing on purpose, but I keep changing subjects often enough that I get to try different things. All right, I need to step back away from this a bit. I don't have a ton of room here, so let me try this. Take a look. Okay. All right. Yep. See him. See him here. So let me first let me do another stage of the background before I get too too much into the detail of him because I want to make sure this background covers. I love that light blue. Make sure that blends in. That will. All right, I think we got it. At least enough. I've cut a little of his head off in the sense of like the background, but we can... Hey Sarah, thanks for popping in. Yeah, I took up this hobby, as you may have seen in the last 8 months or so of this pandemic, and teaching myself to paint using basically just YouTube videos. But every weekend I do these live streams, so appreciate you popping in and saying hello. Okay, now we'll let that dry a little bit. Like I said, I cut some of his head off, but it's going to be easy because that's the lightest part of his fur. So we'll be able to put that back in very easily. Now what we want to do is, I think we want to go and put in at least the beginning outline of the glasses, because the glasses are going to be the most, well, not most, but they'll be a difficult part, because if they look weird, if they don't look right, then it messes up everything. So let's see if we can do this correctly, or as correctly as possible. And these glasses kind of disappear into his fur. So on this side, this is basically not entirely freehand drawing, but pretty dang close. And I have very little experience freehand drawing, so makes me a little nervous, but I sketched it out ahead of time, but I've covered up those marks. But a little bit of it is showing through, so. I think that's what we're going for. If we get the glasses pretty more or less correct, at least the outline, then I can come back and add more detail. That's cute. Okay, we'll see. It's a little lopsided right now, but we'll see, we'll see. Ethan, welcome. So glad you stopped in. I know, right? His name is Sawyer and he's adorable. I'm really enjoying painting him. Now this is really challenging. Let's see. Okay. I have very few on this side. I don't have much of the guide, the line of the glasses is covered almost completely, so I don't have much of anything to go on. But I have a few key points which are right here. And so if I sort of plan It's off, but we'll see if we can fix it. Look at, you can see the glasses are a little off. The right side is a little bit, but I guess the reference photo appears that way too, doesn't it? Like the left side is just because of how the angle of how it's laid. So maybe it's not as off as I think, because I was trying to, like, I'm looking at it like it's drawn straight on, but it's not. It's at an angle. So actually it may not be as off as it seems. Super cute though. Just super cute. Loving this. My brush is not super precise. It's a very small brush, but it's still, and the canvas I'm on is not the greatest. So, all right. Well, we got the basics, and I'm not totally unpleased with that. While I have this dark color on my brush, I'm adding some more layers on his nose. Oh, that's probably the highest compliment I could get, Nancy. Someone who knows him to say this is starting to capture his personality and who he is. Because like even from the photos, like he's just full of personality, I'm sure. Like it just, at least that's what it appears like in the photos. So that's really makes my heart happy because it starts to look like him little by little. That's what we're going for. The challenge with animals, but specifically a dog such as Sawyer, is that no, like when you mix a color, like this color, I'll hold it up here. So up here, the shadow looks much more gray, right? But then down here, it looks much more white. It's the exact same color. It's just depending on what color it's next to is how light or dark it is. So it's really fascinating to me. It's definitely a learning process of, where not only how do I mix the color, but where do I put the color so that it or what is it next to so that it renders to the eye correctly. Probably more than you wanted as far as art class tonight, but that's one of the fun challenges. And it really, you can't, I don't think, I mean, you can learn techniques, but you can't learn that other than diving in and doing it, like actually putting some marks on the canvas in certain places to see what they look like. But it certainly is a fun challenge for sure. Hey, Michael, thank you. Thanks for popping in, especially on such a busy weekend for you. It was great chatting with you guys earlier this week. We'll put So I'm going to zoom in a little bit so y'all can see some of the fine-tuning work I'm doing. We have about 30 minutes left, but of the time that I have for. So now it's going to be a lot of fairly tedious work in a good way, but it's going in and putting in dark, in this case kind of the dark spots and shadows of his fur, and then switching back and doing some light spots. And I'm constantly, so let me show you what I'm doing on my palette. So right in here is where I'm mixing all these fur colors so they're all kind of congruent, but I'm putting darks out here to the right, and I'll bring in a little blue to take out some of that red in the brown, which makes it darker. So that's kind of what I'm doing. I'm going back and forth with these dark colors and then coming back with the light and doing, and that will give us interest, it will give us variation, and it will give us over time multiple layers, but it will hopefully give a more accurate and lifelike view of him. So, but it is pretty it's like almost one brush stroke at a time. Then going back, mix some more of this light. The advantage of I'm doing very, very small bits of mixing. So like just this spot right here, this spot right here, this spot right here. So it dries very quickly, which forces me to then go back and remix, which allows us to get a variety of actual variations of color in the painting. So that works to our advantage in that regard. Because we get slightly different fur tones when we do that, which is challenging and fun, in my humble opinion. Ooh, that kind of brightened the whole side of the wasn't quite intending to do that, but we'll use it. Like our good friend Mr. Bob Ross says, happy little accidents or unintended things things we don't plan on that are just wonderful. Now I sound like Bob Ross. But we won't waste them. Yeah, he's starting to come off the canvas just beautifully in a way that makes me super happy. I'm just so grateful for friends like my dear Nancy that are so kind, lending me their pets in this way so that I can learn something new and try something new, and certainly a lot of fun. I have two other canvases prepared with Sawyer's, like to paint Sawyer. I probably won't do them on the stream just so that you all get to see different subjects each week, but I'm excited to paint him 2 or 3 times just because I know it will be good for me and I'll learn a lot. I keep waiting. Well, he won't, as far as I know, but if it looks good enough that he could, that makes me super happy, Bob G. If it looks like he could kind of come off of the canvas a bit and give us a little hello, that would not make me sad at all. It's all this kind of slow detail work that starts to really bring it together. But it is slow. So I appreciate everybody hanging in there with me. Bob G, I got up to Abby's this afternoon. I don't know if you were already on the stream when I kind of did my promo for Abby, but I ran into Tanya Hooks up there. I think she is on the Central High board with you, or was. I don't know if you're still on that alumni board, but she just got her first shot of the vaccination, and so we chatted for a while, and she's doing real well. It was great to kind of say hello to her. Absolutely, yeah, she's a sweetheart. We met the some ladies from Texas and North Carolina, mother and two daughters. They kind of met halfway, which Little Rock happened to be halfway, and so we chatted with them for a while and took a picture. One of the ladies' husband is a cousin of Supreme Court Justice Sonia Sotomayor, and found that out when we were introducing ourselves, and she gave her last name. So that was an interesting conversation, and they were here checking out Little Rock and got up into Hillcrest, and were just walking up and down. They had been down to the river already and saw the sculpture gardens down there, and so they were really impressed with our sculpture gardens, and so it was a nice little afternoon chat with them. Oh, absolutely. I'm so grateful. I didn't even think to, I mean, I could have sent it to her, but I'm so glad you thought to do that. She was so kind to allow me to paint that it's kind of flattering that she would want that. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, my blessing. I'll have to shoot her. She had added me on Facebook, so I'll have to shoot her a message. And I don't log into Facebook very often, or as often. I'm trying to stay away. I think I mentioned that. So but I'll have to reach out to her and say happy birthday and mention that. That's wonderful. Next time we chat, I'll tell you about an idea I have that I think you'll be interested in. Oh, thanks so much. I appreciate it. He certainly is adorable. So I am really appreciative. We're getting there. We're getting there. I know Lola was on earlier. I'm not sure. Usually she's here or she pops in at the end if not, so. There you go, Bob. I mentioned this last week, but it's always cool to see my live stream buddies get to know one another. Remember what I said? I'm going to zoom this back. Whoops, zoom it out a little bit. I'm putting some detail in down here, but remember what I said at the beginning? How our eyes focus on, like when they're focused on one place, the the periphery is out of focus. So I'm not putting, other than like different variety of colors, I'm not doing very detailed work in Sawyer's paws and his coat down here. I'm just doing some variety of strokes and a variety of colors so that it kind of gives the illusion of his fur, but it's also semi out of focus on purpose, so that the focus of the painting is, of course, his face. So we're just going to keep this illusion down here that, you know, his paws are there, of course, but I'm going to come back in. I want to do some more detail work. We have about 10 minutes. And I want to try to get as done as possible, even though this needs a little more work. The truth is I could overwork this to death, probably. But we won't do that. All right, I've been focusing on his fur for a while, fur around his face. Oh, that's fascinating, Lola. You have Arkansas. I'm always surprised the people I meet that have Arkansas connections. We're in central Arkansas, but it's the northwest corner up by, the region is northwest Arkansas, but Rogers, Bentonville, Springdale, all of that. Well, now it's, of course, Walmart land, or Tyson Foods and all those companies that are up there. All right. Want to put a little dot in his eye. Then I want to take a little bit of this. Ah, thank you. I'm a little surprised we're pulling this off, but actually not really. It's just a process, right? I need it a little bit, this side a little more round, I think. Yeah, he's definitely recognizable as Sawyer at this point, so I'm happy with that. At least I've not met Sawyer, but this picture, he looks like the correct dog, so that's good. That's what you're always worried about. Or I don't know that you are all probably not worried, but I'm cautious when I am painting somebody's dog, like I've said. So what I want to do now to finish out, we're at 9 o'clock Central. I'm going to take about 2 minutes. Those of you who want to stick along, I'm going to try to refine these, the glasses, because I think that's an important, one of the most important parts of the painting. So I'm going to work on this for a second before I wrap the thing, even though I know we're going a little bit over. I just can't let it go without kind of fixing the glasses. And I don't know this. See if we can get the correct shape for these kind of cat eye glasses, so they look correct on him. It's not, this color is not wanting to behave. When I first put it on, it was really gliding pretty smooth with just a little water, but it is not. It's really viscous now here at the end. So a little bit frustrating, but we'll get there. I needed actually, I wonder if I can switch to, I'm going to try a different brush real quick. I'm going to actually move to I'm actually going to move to a wedge brush, because that might, using the edge of that might actually give me a better line. It looks like maybe. So that's good. This was not wanting to move along the canvas smoothly, which is important at this stage for the glasses, because otherwise they look, if the line isn't precise, it kind of looks weird. So I'm trying to do as precise as possible without just hashing it to death. I think we got it for the most part. All right. Absolutely. It's actually really rewarding for me. Obviously, I've mentioned having you all here, but the fact that then my friends make friends is that this little hobby of mine has become something that other people enjoy as well is really kind of darn cool. Pretty darn cool. All right. This is a little off. But not terribly noticeably. I will always be critical of myself, of course, but it's not bad. Not bad. All right. Well, ladies and gents, when he came to Arkansas 10 years ago, he didn't even know how to say y'all. Now he has it down to a pat. Yeah, I gave up on... When I first moved, I was absolutely determined I was never going to use y'all, because y'all was just so uncouth. And yeah, that lasted about literally maybe 2 weeks, and then I was just like, oh, it's just so much easier. And now I feel weird if I say you all, or you, like, you guys, or it just feels, now the opposite is true. You guys, or you plural, seems so unkind and uncouth and unfriendly. So I've become a Southerner for sure. All right. Let us wrap this bad boy up. All right. So this is what we have. Our cute little Sawyer. He is adorable. I have to say, I'm pretty happy with him. He turned out pretty darn cute. So that's what we ended up with. I want to thank each and every one of you for joining me this evening, and for spending this time with me. I appreciate you, just coming in every week as you do, and sharing your comments, your conversation, yourselves with me on this journey. I am really appreciative. Next week will be interesting because I will actually be out of town. I will be visiting my folks in the mountains of western South Dakota. Don't know how the live stream will play out. I'm still trying to plan if I can take some paint projects on the plane with me, or not paint projects, paint supplies, how that's going to work. But we will do a live stream next week. It may be truncated depending on what ideas I come up with in the next week. But I thank you each for joining me this evening. I hope it's been fun. I've had a blast. And thanks again for spending your evening with me. Hope you have a great week ahead. And if you don't follow me already on YouTube, as I say every week, but I'll encourage you to follow me there. That's the easiest place to find these live streams. You can also follow me on Instagram at Stephen E. Rice, Stephen with a V, middle initial E, Rice, R-I-C-E, for the progress photos of my paintings, and periodically a few other things that I post. So great spending the evening with you. Thanks so much. Don't forget, tonight is daylight savings. We're springing ahead. Hopefully your phones and electronics will all switch automatically, but if you have those archaic clocks and watches that have to actually be set by human beings, you'll want to bump those forward an hour this evening. Again, thank you. I say it over and over. Have a great evening, and we will see you on the next live stream.